This is a song for yesterday, not today. I forgot to do it. Well, I didn't forget to do it. I just didn't have the right song in my head. I've now got it. Francis Drake. So Francis Drake was a big deal feature of yesterday's conversation. We saw Drake Island and we're in Drake City in the false legend about playing bowls and defeating the Spanish Armada. So that inspired me to choose for Song of the Day Emma's favourite Drake White song, which is what we're doing really, certainly what Andy and me are doing today and what Emma and me do most of the time. So Drake White, Living the Dream. Well, our second day of walking in South Devon at the magnificently sunny Wembury, just below the church, which is perched up on top of the hill there. Rather lovely it is too. Lovely little church indeed. And patron saint is a woman. How rare is that? St. Werburgh's. Well, that's the mouth of the river Yealm that we're heading for. We're going to get to the other side. That's a motorway coastal path here. We'll have views of Newton Ferrers. It's a Norman name, Ferrers. They're conquering bastards. We've got a lot to answer for. And Nos Mayo. And we'll finish with a view of the Great Mewstone, which JMW Turner himself did a sketch. Not sure if it's oils or watercolour sketch, probably watercolours, of that on a much moodier day than today. And as you can see from my pictures, it's glorious. We're now at Warren Point at this magnificent river estuary, classic drowned river valley, the River Yealm. So we're looking at a place called Newton Ferrers, and a few quid's worth of residences up on that slope overlooking the estuary. And I'm gonna go and mobilise myself down here for boarding action, which is always a thrill. I wonder if you can tell how happy I am. Even Andy's happy.
Makes a change.
Well, he's not as ailmenty as he's been when I previously slagged him off for being miserable, when he had genuine cause to be miserable. But today he's got a big infection in his ear. Well, how rubbish is this, walking fans? What a treat. Just about to crash into the Devonian rocks. Marvellous. I really don't want to get off. I just don't want to get off. I want to stay on here. What a just absolute pleasure.
It really just floats your boat, doesn't it?
It does. I love it. I've
literally and figuratively.
Yeah, I've so enjoyed all the little crossings we've done. So Andy has posed the question: who pays the ferryman? The answer, walking fans, is me. But I owe him about 300 quid for parking machines, so never mind. And if not for the actual financial side of it, for the emotional support that I require when operating these intransigent bastard machines that are never the same in one car park to another. I could rant about them.
Your anxiety.
You do. It's more deep-seated anger.
Trying to be polite.
Oh, well,
It's not so light, mate.
it is. I mean, I think the two of us would encourage every single person we know, just get off your ass and come and do this. Well, we've crossed the mighty Yealm, and we're now on the eastern side of the river, the left bank, and we're walking through a place called Ferryman's Cottage. The actual place is called Ferryman's Cottage. I'm not sure which one is the cottage of the eponymous ferryman, but can't be far away. How handsome is that then, walking fans? Slightly out of date shillings and pence D for pence. I can't remember why it's called D. Why is it called D? S for shillings, D for what? Ferriage. Well, that reminds me of somebody. Let me just banish that thought. Anchorage for every vessel, 1 shilling, but ballasting for ditto, 2 shillings and 4 pence. That's very nearly a half a crown. Or a little bit more than a florin.
Wasn't it LSD?
Yeah.
Pounds?
Shillings and dents, pence.
It must be Latin.
The only thing I can think of is Deuteronomy. Decimalis. What's the D for? That's our puzzle for the day as we ply our way through the narrow defile of the coast path at Ferryman's Cottage. Debentures. Andy thinks debentures.
No, I don't.
We're going through D's.
Dominoes.
Domini. And on that point, I think we'll leave our pondering for a while and concentrate on wandering. Oh, I say. Oh, I say. That's an intrusion. So right here, that's some igneous rock intruded between, like an injection of toothpaste, in between the steeply dipping strata of the Devonian rocks of this area. Not Devon, the Devonian rocks of Devon. So, lightly metamorphosed sedimentary rocks. And this is some dolerite or some such molten magma from 250 million years ago that squeezed its way in between the layers of basically shale that's been turned into slate. What a lovely find! I've said it before and I'll say it again. I do like a good buttercup field. And that's a nice one, a nice meadow, it's got a nice shape to it. It falls away beneath me, so there's more buttercup activity on the lower slope, leading down towards a very peaceful sea. And there's a clipper out there clipping. So all is well with the world as we approach our lunch break on our walk between Wembury and Mothecombe. And as I said, I've noted before how much I like a field of buttercups. Maybe it's the butter I like. You can't beat a good buttercup field. Well, I hope you can see my band today. It's the Marcus King Band. Emma and me saw Marcus King and his band a year ago, actually, almost to the day, I think. The Tram Shed, Cardiff. What a gig that was. And so I guess today, given that I'm wearing this, much as I want to pick a Springsteen song yet again, I think my song for the day has got to be Homesick, off the album called Carolina Confessions. And I highly recommend listening to Marcus King if you like the Eagles, if you like the Byrds, if you like Bruce Springsteen, and if you like anything with a bit of soul and passion, a bit funky. Superb musicians. Marcus King is an outstanding guitar player. Plays a big fat Gibson SG, I think it is, which is a very fine looking guitar, cherry red, like the Groundhog song, which I listened to last night. So I highly recommend Marcus King. I'm wearing his tour shirt with pride. Nobody has stopped me yet and commented upon it, unlike yesterday when I was commented upon on many an occasion because I was wearing a Bruce Springsteen tour shirt. In fact, it's Emma's, and she kindly agreed to loan it to me for the purpose of this trip, and I shall wear it tomorrow because I washed it last night. Well, it has to be said that this is fairly precipitous, this path. There's no steps, there's no zigzags. I'm going to be very, very careful going down it. My knees are as bent as the old things can go, and I'm going to step down quite gingerly. I have to try and remember to shout if it looks like I'm going to fall over, so he can film me. That's what friends are for. Well, I've come down that incredible slope, which I find difficult, to get to the bottom, to go through a very narrow bit of path full of the most vicious stingers. And so today, wearing shorts, hopefully I'm relatively sting-free. Well, Andy definitely specialises in the descent mode of our walking. I much prefer going up. Oh, Mrs. reminds me of my favourite Kenneth Williams quote, which makes me laugh out loud whenever I think of it. Kenneth Williams said memorably, "Every time I see a double entendre in one of our scripts, I have to whip it out." Classic. Well, the first time ever I had to take a medical stop there. Walked all these miles on the coast path, and my old right knee has given me some right old jip. So I've stopped and taken a couple of paracetamol from my first aid kit. Not sure if it'll make any difference. And it's only really for the downhill bits. So uphill's not a problem, it's just the jarring going downhill. So the final part of today's walk is drug assisted walking, fans. Very near walk's end. Not sure what to say about today's walk. I really loved it up to Stoke Beach, but then it became silly because the path became incredibly narrow, adverse cambered. Not much you can do about that, but because of the vigorous growing season at the moment, it was full of stingers and thistles, and coupling that with my jippy knee, I've had a couple of hours of quite miserable walking, to be honest. There is the permanent tonic of looking at the sea. So this particular stretch down to what I'm now going to call Motherfucker won't be one I shall be seeking to do again. But don't let me put you off, it's pretty handsome. Well, walking fans, we have crossed the mighty Erme. So Andy and me have both shed loads. No gear on the bottom, my trousers are over there. The tide's coming in like there's nobody's bloody business. And you don't leave anything on the sand for very long because you can literally see it coming in. So I've forgotten about my dodgy knee and come to this beautiful place, and we've had a laugh wading around. We've witnessed the end of a marriage just a few moments ago with
bit of a domestic.
The husband going mental at his wife who wouldn't cross, but she eventually guided across by him. He's a knowledgeable fluvial navigator. Get going, because this is serious tide. What a magic place. No kick. Well, the Erme was a real highlight for our walk. In one of a game of two halves, as my written notes suggest. Brilliant day's walking for most part. My knee gave me jip for the second part, and I think that coloured my thinking. But a marvellous day out on the coast path yet again.